Hello there, and welcome to another episode with me, Silvio Porcellana, the creator of the platform that you are using, or that I hope you will be using to build your websites, progressive web apps, and all other digital marketing tools. Today, we're going to talk about content marketing, and more specifically, we're going to talk about the blog widget, which basically allows you to very easily create blogs, as many blogs that you want in your website. So we will see how you can use it, what are its basic features that are already enough to create a very successful blog, so you can deploy and leverage your content marketing campaigns and your content marketing activities. But we will also see some pretty advanced stuff like the AI AutoBlog, which basically allows you to let the system create content for you. You just give it, some keywords, some topics, and frequency, and then the system will create the actually posts for you, and then you can either approve them or just let the system do everything and auto-populate your blog. So let's jump right into the platform, and then we'll come back for the usual goodbyes. So let's start with the usual SiteMaker, and this time we're gonna check and work on a website for a web agency. So let's say the ideal place, let's say the ideal location for a blog, right? Since content marketing is extremely important to promote our services, to get discovered by SEO, and to share our knowledge to our customers and potential and target customers. So let's create a page. In this case, we'll create it from scratch, and then we'll call it blog, right? Do we want to add a header widget? No, in this case, we don't want to add a header widget. Then, as usual, very simply add a widget, and here we have it right here at the top of the list of widgets, right? So we have it here, and here we already have our blog, and let's analyze a little bit what this is about. So first of all, we can, as usual, add some intro text. So our blog, just very simply. Then we can add a subtitle and an intro text that we can generate with AI. Then we already see the AI-powered AutoBlog. Well, we'll see this later on. So let's just save this for the moment. And then we will start adding our first blog post, right? So here in blog post, we click on add a new post. And then very simply, here we add a title. This is our first blog post. Then we have a subtitle. This is the subtitle. The abstract that will be shown in lists, for example. This is the abstract of this blog post. All right, and then we can generate, as usual, context with AI. So, for example, generate a 600 words post for the blog of a web agency about the benefits of having a blog for any small business. Okay, and then we let it go, and we'll see what this generates. All right, so it has generated this content. Then we might want to fix it a little bit. So, for example, this is an H2, this is another H2, but we need to split it from the part above, and so on. Anyway, we just generate the content here. Then we can add an image. Obviously, let's pick one from the global media library. For example, in this case, this is about, let's say, SEO, or in general web development, we can choose this one. Okay, so as you've seen in a second, we have generated our first blog. Let's see it on desktop. So you see, this is our blog. We click here, and then we have all this. So we can go back, and then here we have our little article that we have generated. So we have our blog. Now let's start, playing with this a little bit. First of all, we can change the status of the post, right? So now this by default is published, so it's live, but we can say that it's a draft, so it's not shown in the list. Or we can also have it shown, but have it no index. What that means is that it will not be indexed by search engines. Then we can add a publish date, right? So it's today, if it's time sensitive usually, or if we want to attach let's say a timestamp. And pretty interestingly, we can also add an end date. So for example, if it's some content that we don't want to show after a certain date because it's, let's say, relatively time sensitive, so we can specify an end date and even specify the time zone, because we will actually specify the actual time, exact time when it will disappear from the list. We've already seen the image as usual with the content block, so we can then align this in the body to the left, to the right. We can, since this is a list item, let's say it appears in the list, we can also say that we want to show this image only in the list, for example, right? You see, in this case, by default, the system uses it as the background of the header, let's say, when we open the actual post. But we can say to hide it hide it when showing the element, or just hide it on desktop, or just hide it on mobile. Then we can customize the list layout for this specific post. We will see that we can customize the overall the general list layout for the whole list. You see that, for example, we have that the image is shown above the title and abstract on mobile, and to the left to the title and abstract on desktop. We can change this. We can, as you know, when you add more than one image, the system automatically generates a slider, and therefore we can decide what kind of transition we want, the interval, and we can show the thumbnails below the slider, for example. This is very useful for e-commerce. We're going to see this in e-commerce. Add also a video URL if we want to show a video instead of an image. Then, as with any other, blog that deserves this name, we can add tags, and then we can use tags to generate links, for example, or help in the search functionality, and so on. We can then specify the author, with even adding a little bio, right? A little box where the bio will be shown. And as we have done before, we can also specify the date for this content. This part right here is very interesting if we want to create a list of events, right? Because we can specify the event start, date and time of the start, and the exact date and time when the event ends, right? This and the time zone for these dates, for these times. Obviously, this, in addition to making it time sensitive, is very powerful when used in conjunction with the advanced search feature that we have already seen in the previous video about real estate, and that we will quickly see this time. We're going to do a specific video for that widget. But this allows people to search for example, say, show me all the events that happens tomorrow, right? So it will only show events that start and end by tomorrow, or that included in tomorrow, right? We can then say, okay, hide the event, hide post, which can be an event, after the end date and time, right? So it will disappear and will work as a list of events, always up to date, and that will never show past expired events. And then we can even show a button that, when clicked, will allow users to download this event as an iCal file, right? So they will automatically be able to add it to their to the calendar on their phone, or even on their desktop computer. Then we can specify a location, right? So again, just imagine it's an event in, I don't know, a party, right? In a disco place, right? So you say the party starts at 10 p.m. On Friday and ends at 1 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever. And then it's in that specific place, right? Again, also this will add a map and will allow you to make the search functionality even more powerful, right? Because you will be able to say, I want all events which are tomorrow in a radius of 10 kilometers from where I am located, all right? Then we can attach an audio file, right? So basically creating a podcast, even if we have the dedicated podcast widget that we will see in another video, you can attach an audio file, right? and this will obviously then generate and show a player automatically and all that. And you can even, attach up to 2 files, which could be, a PDF file or something like that, that you want to link, that you want to leave in this post. Then we have all of the SEO, Open Graph and URL part, right? So obviously that's one of the probably most important thing. In addition to, generate some good content, we need to give it a good meta title, meta description. We can have the Open Graph title and description different. If we leave this blank, it will use the meta title and meta description. We can add a dedicated Open Graph image if we want it different from the image that we have uploaded. And then we can also have, specify the custom URL for this specific blog post, right? So we can play with SEO also in the custom URL. We could, as with any other list element, usually we don't use this in blogs, but if we want to, we could even add a hard redirect, what we call a hard redirect, which basically means that if we add a URL here and the user clicks on the blog post, it will be redirected there. And then, look at this, we can also enable or disable comments specifically for this blog post. But we will see in the list, actually the list settings, because this is a list, let's say, setting for all the blog posts in a blog, right? So we have seen everything that we can do in the blog post right here. So let's go back to the actual list now. And then let's start customizing the list. Again, we're going to check the AI powered AutoBlog as a final treat. So first of all, we can say where we want to back button for items, if we want to show previews or next post, if we want to show nearby items. So that's obviously if you add a location to a post and then below the actual blog, each blog post, nearby items will be shown. And nearby, we decide here what nearby means. So within 100 meters, 500 meters, 1 kilometer, and so on. We can specify the pagination type. So if we want a normal, so 1, 2, 3 the pages, and then we specify how many items per page. If we leave it to 0, no pagination. Or the show more buttons, which, let's say, loads new posts when we scroll up the page, right? So people don't have to click, but the new posts, the other posts are shown automatically when the user scrolls past the last one shown. And then obviously the order of the page, of the post, right? So usually with posts on a blog, we want to show the most recent ones, but we could change this, or we could do it manually, right? So we just drag and drop each post and we order it as we want. Now this is for events, right? Specifically for events. So for example, we want to show a long format of the date. So if we set it to yes, it will be shown like this. If we enable this instead of the date, if it's today or tomorrow, it will be shown as today or tomorrow, which is makes it more readable. And then we can collapse similar items. This, for example, is useful when you have an event which is the same event. So I don't know, a fair, which has more than one date, right? So today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, right? In reality, it's the same event. But it makes sense to add it as a separate event, because if I say I want to, show things that are available tomorrow, if I added just one event for the whole fair, which starts today, it wouldn't be shown, right? So we can add 3 events, the fair today, the fair tomorrow, and the fair the day after tomorrow, but we can tell the system to collapse it in one single item. So the item, the post will be just one, and it will show the actual 3 items, 3 days shown for that. It's easier to test it than to actually describe it in words. We can add a search form at the top of the form. This is a very simple search form, which can also have though a near me button. Obviously, if you want more flexibility, you can use the advanced search, and we will talk specifically about that in a dedicated video. We can hide tags, and then we can use tags to show similar items. You remember here we said that we want to show, or if we enable here similar items, tags will be used to choose and show similar items at the bottom of each blog post, right? Then we can have, as you know, with any list, we can have more than one tab, right? In this case, we hide additional tabs, but we could show tabs where the same list is shown as the list right here, or as a map, if obviously the system has the posts have a location, or a calendar if obviously the posts have a date. And then we could also export, let's say, the list of posts, so the whole blog, as an RSS feed. Now, if you don't know what RSS is, I suggest you check it out, because it's extremely powerful, even if very old, but for that, very mature standard to syndicate and to, let's say, share your contents. Any blog post, any blog widget created with the platform has an automatic RSS feed link. Then we can customize the list layout, so the columns on mobile and desktop, where to show the image. Obviously, we want to show each item in a dedicated page, but we could choose and change this to show it in a modal, and then again show title in a header, which is the default feature, which is what we see here. You see that the title is shown in a header, which is 50%, but we could change this behavior. We could also say no, and it will not be shown like that. This is for WordPress, or in general, you can use this API key to post using, let's say, the WordPress standard REST calls and API calls to directly post into this blog. This is pretty technical, so if you don't understand the majority of the words I mentioned, don't worry. If you do, you can use it. Sharing, so you can enable sharing, which will show the buttons automatically, and then you can choose what buttons you want to actually show. So, for example, in this case, we will show these buttons, and you see that they appear right here. And when people click on it, they will be able to just very quickly share this, for example, on Facebook, on X, or whatever. Okay, and then we have, as we said, we have comments. So you can enable comments, and you can enable the Facebook comments or discuss comments, which is a system where you don't even have to log in or everything. The system will automatically add comments below every post in your blog. This is the usual stuff. So we can obviously have custom CSS, asking the agent, and whatever. Now, this is very cool, and as you see, this is already everything you need to create a complete and extremely powerful and extremely customizable blog, or as many blogs as you want, because again, this is a widget, so we have added the blog widget into this page. You can create another page in your website, add another blog widget, and you have another blog. So you can create as many as you want. We even, as we said, offer you an AI-powered AutoBlog. What that means is that, for example, you create a topic, for example, SEO, and then you add some SEO optimization. So you add some keywords, SEO for small businesses. Okay. Then you can also pick, for example, an image category, and then you say, okay, how many times, what's the frequency, how many times per month, per week, or per month you want me to create a blog post. And then you say, for example, every month, and then you want it draft or already go live. Usually it's a good idea to leave it draft, because then you can check it. All right, and then you save. And from this moment on, every Monday, and you see here, you have this, so you can also click on generate now, but every Monday, the system will generate a post, and you can add additional topics. Every Monday, the system will generate a blog post, alert you, send you an email and say, I have generated a new blog post. If it's in draft, come and check it and approve it, or if it's live, it's going to be already published on the blog post and the system on the blog, and the system will alert you. So again, have your content marketing active and running while you sleep, literally, and then you can customize and fix and add keywords and all that. But this is an extremely powerful tool to even to bring your blogging and content marketing functionalities literally to the next level. So, all right, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. You liked the blog widget, and you discovered how you can leverage it to add as many blogs as you want, so as many pages with a blog as you want to your websites and progressive web apps to obtain the SEO and in general the results that content marketing allows you to reach in your websites. As usual, thank you so much for your time, and thank you in advance for your like and for your subscribe to the channel, so you will never miss another video with me. Thank you again, and see you in the next video.